Alex, what a difference a year makes. Going to spring training last year, you have to come here and win a job. Tough to do?
Yeah, it was tough to do, Dan, but it was a lot of fun. It just reminded me of when I was 18 years old and I was trying to make Lou Pinella's team in Seattle. It reminded me how much I love the game, how hard you have to work at it. There is no shortcuts, and I just really enjoyed coming to the ballpark every day and showing Joe Girardi and management that I can be a force in the middle of that lineup.
A long time away. Was there a time, a workout or a game in spring training where you did something and went, yeah, it's still there. I still can do this?
That's a great question, Dan. It was probably the first home run I hit. You know, I hadn't played baseball in over a year and a half. I was 39 at the time. It was the first time in 39 years that I basically took a year and a half hiatus away from the game. That was pretty fearful. But coming back, my biggest fear was I wanted to stay healthy. I wanted to get the bird off the ground because I knew if I didn't, I knew it was going to be a long summer.
Okay, April 9th, Dan, you hit your first regular season home run against the Blue Jays. Did that take a lot of weight off your back? Like, you could relax now?
That was. I think for me the biggest hit was we had a bases loaded Sunday night game on ESPN against the Boston Red Sox, and I hit a 3-run triple in the first inning. A 3-run double. I couldn't hit a triple at 39. A 3-run double, and I think that made me breathe, and from that point on I felt a lot more comfortable.
All right. What's the toughest transition? You went from shortstop to third base to DH. What was the toughest?
I think short to third, just because I was in the middle of the prime of my career. I know a lot of my friends and family questioned my move. They wanted me to stay at short, but I thought it was a hard move. I worked really hard at it. I remember coming out here early mornings with Larry Boa and Greg Nettles, and we just took hundreds of ground balls. And I think probably by the All-Star game of year one, I started to feel a lot more comfortable.
1995. Tom Gordon, I mentioned the name. Your first home run.
Yeah.
What did it feel like?
Well, Tom Gordon is a good friend, and I played with him.
But it felt good.
It felt great. It was a 3-2 curveball. I still remember like it was yesterday at the Kingdom, and of course the legendary Dave Niehaus has a great call, and someone who I admire greatly. And that's a home run I'll never forget.
All right, number 500 off of Kyle Davies. Anxious because you're probably sitting at 499, 498, wondering if you're ever going to get to 500?
Yeah, I sat there for a while. I was putting a little bit too much pressure on myself. And again, first pitch fastball, 2 men on base, 3-run homer, day game in Yankee Stadium. I mean, you couldn't draw it up any better.
Okay, now you've done so many great things. And then last year, you have a 3-home run game, right? Everybody's like, hey, can this guy still do it, right? The third one, I amazed, dead central off Glenn Perkins.
Yeah, it was one of those days. I mean, I went back and the next day I was talking to one of the umpires and they said, hey, great game yesterday. He goes, yeah, can you believe that? Can you believe I did that? It was hard to believe for me. I mean, to be able to do that at 20, 30, but to do it at 40 years old or 39, close to be 40, whatever I was, it was pretty special. It was a night that I'll never forget.
You have 2 big fans, Ella and Natasha, right? Do they know what you do? Do they understand what you do being a baseball player?
Well, they'll be here today for Easter, and they do. They're 11 and 7. They're the joy of my life. We've had a 3-game monopoly the last 3 nights. They don't even let me go to sleep. I said, I'm 40. I got to get up in the morning. I got to play baseball. But it's fun. They're getting to an age now where they get to appreciate. And look, for me last year, that season, I dedicated it to them.
You've hit against some great ones, right? In your era, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Pedro, Kurt Schilling. Give me the one guy. When you're in the on-deck circle, you're walking in, you're like, it's on. Was there one guy that you knew, like, I got to have my game?
Well, it has to be, for me, Pedro Martinez.
I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about 98, 99, 2000, Pedro Martinez, I put him up against anybody that's ever played the game. When it comes to competitiveness, he had 3+ pitches. Fastball got up to the mid-90s, if not hundreds. Power changeup, power slurve. Then he ended up starting to throw a 90-mile-an-hour cutter. He was unhittable.
All right, last question. You're on contract to 2017. Any chance 2018 we're going to see any more A-bombs from A-Rod?
I'm not sure. I mean, look, I don't know if I'm making the road trip on Tuesday. This game changes so much.
You still have fun playing.
That's the one thing I took from last year. It reminds me of how much I love this game, how much I appreciate it, how hard you have to work at it. And many nights, Dan, I sat there in Yankee Stadium at 6:30 in my Yankee pinstripes, and I said, holy smokes, I'm the luckiest guy in the world to be playing baseball again for so many reasons. So I had fun, I enjoyed it, I hope to do the same this year.
Congrats. Thanks.
Thanks,
Alex Rodriguez.